Every now and then you find yourself in a really weird place, and I'm currently in a really weird place here in India. I'm going to see a place that is called Auroville.
If you saw this city from space, you wouldn't think it belonged to India. You might not even think it belonged to Earth. In 1968, 5,000 people gathered here to start a new civilization. A civilization with no religion, no money, no owner. They called it Auroville. Auroville was meant to be the Utopia. It was meant to bring people together, but nearly 60 years on, it's now turned into a battlefield. Everything it once represented is being turned on its head. So we're going to go and discover what happens when you try to design and master plan Utopia. Did it work? Or has Auroville failed its very ideals? But first, we have to find it. To find the city of the future, you first have to leave the chaos of the real world behind. It's not far from Pondicherry, but riding towards Auroville feels like you are looking for a treasure hidden inside a labyrinth.
Okay, so gone wrong already, but this is why scooters are fantastic, because you end up in the middle of nowhere, seeing things you wouldn't usually see. So I'm going to put my helmet back on, and then we're going to find the actual right direction.
The grid disappears and the environment seems to surround you. Once you arrive, the first thing to greet you isn't spiritual enlightenment. It's a parking ticket.
It's 50 rupee for two-wheel parking. You see there's a lot of bikes. It's actually super busy. I wasn't expecting it to be this busy. I actually thought I'd done the right thing for once and come on a Tuesday. But
what is this place? It wasn't built from a trade route or a river. It was built from a philosophy from two people, one named Sri Aurobindo and the other simply named the Mother. Together, they believed that human evolution was not complete and that the human would evolve into something new. The supermind. They wanted to create a laboratory to test this, a place where this species could evolve. A place with no money, no religion, no owner, a township for everybody. This is how Auroville was born. To build a new home for this species, the French architect Roger Anger was employed.
Roger Anger.
He didn't design a village, he designed a master plan revolving around an entire galaxy. The 1968 master plan envisaged a massive futuristic city of 50,000 people arranged in a spiral. And at the center he placed this, the Matrimandir. It looks like a spaceship or a golden golf ball, but it's technically a marvel. Those 1,415 discs are covered in real gold leaf, fused between glass to survive the salt air from the sea nearby. Inside there is no god, no idols, just a pure white marble chamber with a single crystal globe, the largest in the world, manufactured by the Zeiss company in Germany. A computer-controlled mirror on the roof tracks the sun and beams a single ray of light directly into the crystal. It is the most expensive silence in the world. But here is the catch. In 1968, when 5,000 people came to stand here and pour soil into a white urn from 124 different nations, they were standing in the middle of a desert. That desert was meant to become the concrete master plan that is the galaxy. However, there was no money to build it. So the early pioneers built huts for themselves and ended up planting trees. A lot of them. And this is the cruel irony. Those trees have created a dense evergreen tropical environment, a forest that is quite rare, that has been planted directly over the galaxy master plan. Fast forward to 2020, some 50 years later, the government have stepped in. They have said enough is enough, no more stagnation, build the city the earth needs. They have sent in bulldozers to clear the Crown Road, the perfectly circular road around the Matrimandir. But this road now goes directly through a lot of those dense urban forests that the residents originally planted. Now, you might be asking what the government has to do with any of this. Is this not contravening the exact charter that Auroville was set up on? And yes, it exactly does. But in the land of invisible politics, it actually gets even more complicated. The mother had set up the Sri Aurobindo Society, a place where most of the money was paid into, and that was then distributed to projects around the city. However, she passed away, and when she did, there was almost a corporate raid. The society claimed it owned everything, the land, the money, the entire city really, and they told the residents they were simply employees. It got volatile, which is why the government had to step in. In 1988, they created the Auroville Foundation, which was a board of members that would have almost ultimate final call over the projects in Auroville. This in turn would be a double-edged sword. In 2021, all hell would break loose. The government would send in bulldozers to start creating that ring road to stop that stagnation. The bulldozers ended up going in at night, and the residents would stand in front of those bulldozers to stop them ploughing down the forest. You literally had the state fighting the pioneers. That same state that the residents had asked for protection from would end up going in to create the Masterplan. It was the ultimate paradox. The state wanted to implement the Masterplan, whereas the original pioneers who went there for that same Masterplan wanted to save the forest. What a bizarre twist in fate. And what of the money? Remember, this place is meant to run on no money, but the foundation doesn't build houses for the people. So to gain access, you're meant to give a charitable donation. 30, 50, 70, if not more, thousand USD. This money is held by the foundation and effectively buys you access to live here in Auroville. And that in turn has created critique. Some say that the city the world needs for the whole of humanity has turned into the city for the whole of humanity that only a few people can afford. So what have we learned from the city of the future? If you look at the stats, Auroville has failed. It was meant to be a metropolis of around 50,000 people. It's become a village of around 3,000 people. It was meant to be a land of no money, but it's extremely expensive. It was meant to be a place of divine harmony, but it's currently in court. So all things point to this being a failure, but failure is a funny word. On one hand, yes, the project didn't become what it was meant to be, but it has become something else. Those original pioneers and the villagers since have created a dense forest. They've created a village. They actually have an environment that works for them. And in a world that is increasingly at odds, they have managed to live in something of a harmony. Okay, there are going to be battles going forward, but they have set out and achieved something, even if it doesn't resemble exactly what they set out to do. And that brings us to the fatal flaw in the experiment. Auroville wants to be the city of the future. It wants electricity, it wants the largest glass sphere from Germany. But it also wants to be void of politics, religion, ownership. And what it kind of has proved is that you can't really have both. You can't seem to build a new future city on a barter system. Now, the story of Auroville is not over. A project called the Line of Goodwill is meant to be going forward. They are constructing one of the really dense urban arms from the Spiral Galaxy plan. It's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate this into the really now dense jungle, but going forward it's one that we should all keep our eye on, because there are going to be battles there for Auroville of nature versus concrete. Now, I have also designed a future city. I did it for my home city of Peterborough. I'll put a link to it in the description. Check it out and let me know what you think of that. Now, if we strip everything back, get rid of the idea of human evolution, get rid of the idea of spirituality, and just look at Auroville for what it is, we could argue that perhaps what it has achieved is reminding us that the most important mother to us all is actually Mother Earth. And perhaps being within nature and around nature is the greatest thing that will help with human evolution, but perhaps it's something more simple than that. Perhaps it will just bring us closer as human beings. And wouldn't that be something?